Good morning, Money Village. Stacey speaking.
Independent commercial debt management company Money Village have carried out research that indicates personal debt levels in Ireland are nearly 150% of the levels experienced in the UK.
Well, the average debt we would deal with would be in excess of 38,000 per customer unsecured debt. That would compare with about 24,000 in the UK. So, you know, the average debt in Ireland is way higher than it is in the UK and probably a lot more complex. If you add in your mortgage debt, that would rise substantially because the average mortgage in Ireland is in around 250 to 300,000. So we do have a huge problem with the overhang of debt.
While welcoming the new banking protocol and insolvency legislation, Mr McDarby is concerned that many people will be unable to avail of the new landscape to get themselves out of debt.
Well, I would definitely welcome the new insolvency bill. I think it's way overdue. And the reason for that is people need to have light at the end of the tunnel, and I think the insolvency bill will help them. I don't think it's going to go the full way because I think there's a huge amount of people that won't be able to take up any of the insolvency measures. You know, some people won't want to go bankrupt. There's a personal insolvency agreement which may exclude a certain amount. For example, occupations may be excluded. If you're a solicitor or an accountant, you may not be able to go insolvent. So I think it is absolutely needed, but we equally need an informal structure of debt, which all other countries would have in most jurisdictions around the world. They would have an informal structure and a formal structure which deals with the overall debt problem.
Eugene McDarby believes that the state's Money Advice Bureau, MABS, is under-resourced and finding it difficult to come to terms with the scale of the personal debt problem here.
MABs are needed in society, but they're needed for the very vulnerable people who can't afford to deal with debt. And we would deal with, for example, overseas debt, we would deal with business debt, we would deal with mortgage debt, and we would have customers worldwide. So therefore, you know, people who've emigrated abroad, we can deal with their debt back in Ireland. So, you know, as I said, there is a big place for MABs, there's no doubt about that, but they're underfunded, they're overwhelmed, because every credit institution in Ireland is sending their customers to MABs, and of course they don't have the funding to deal with those.